Woo! Trump said he would like to take over Cuba. He would like the honor to be the one that takes Cuba to the United States and free its people. And the reactions from Cubans are all over the place. Some are happy, some are just upset. Some people don't think it's going to happen. Some people doubt that the United States is a real threat. Well, I bet you Iran didn't think that was going to happen too. So was Donald Trump just teasing? Was he just playing around? I mean, still big words from a president. You gotta take almost anything this man says into account, some sort of seriousness in some way, shape, or form. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it, because do we really need another military intervention? Let's go ahead and check this out.
Cuesta lo que cuesta. It does not matter if I have to put out my 401k, if I have to work 6 months at Uber Eats. Who cares? I'm getting on a plane to go to Miami when the day finally comes, because it's not a question of if anymore. It's a question of when. It's always been a question of when, Cuba. Always has been a question of when, porque nada malo en este mundo dura 100 años. And I can't wait for that day to come. And I hope it comes very, very soon. ¿Tú te imaginas?
She seems overjoyed that this could be a free Cuba moment.
Donald Trump threatened the Cuban dictatorship to make a deal. And I just really hope something comes out of it. I really hope.
And he comes.
Well, just in case y'all miss what Donald Trump really said about Cuba, here it is. I'm about to show it to you. You let me know if he was teasing or if he was serious.
Comes from originally a place called Cuba, which we will be taking over almost immediately. Good job. An architect who's really talented. He's done a lot of work for him. He's got a flair, a beautiful Hispanic flair in particular. And he comes from originally a place called Cuba, which we will be taking over almost immediately. No, Cuba's got problems. We'll finish one first. I like to finish a job. On the way back from Iran, we'll have one of our big, maybe the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, the biggest in the world. We'll have that come in, stop about 100 yards offshore, and they'll say, "Thank you very much, we give up."
What do y'all think about that? Do you think that was just a tease? Crazy, right? Crazy.
Breaking news right now, President Trump telling CNN Cuba is going to fall, quote, pretty soon. CNN's chief political correspondent and anchor Dana Bash spoke to the president over the phone just moments ago. It was a wide-ranging conversation, and Dana's joining us right now on the phone. Update our viewers, Dana. How did it go?
Hi, Wolf. Well, it was wide-ranging. It was very brief, but we certainly packed a lot in. Let's just start with Iran. He said he would give the war so far, from the U.S. perspective, a 12, maybe 15 on a scale of 10. He said that he believes the U.S. is doing very well militarily, better than anyone could have dreamed. He said, I rebuilt the military in my first term. As you know, I'm using it in my second term. Iran is not the same country as it was a week ago. A week ago, they were very powerful, and now they have indeed been neutered. So the question, one of the many questions, as you know, Wolf, is who's next? Who's going to be the leader? He connected it to Venezuela, as we've now heard him do in the last couple of days. But I asked him, well, okay, but in Venezuela, you had Delcy Rodriguez, and he said she's doing a very good job. I said, well, would you be okay with a religious leader in Iran? And he said the answer is yes. It doesn't necessarily have to be a democratic leader in Iran. It just has to be somebody who treats the U.S. and Israel fairly, as well as people in the countries in the rest of the Middle East. Well,
And it was interesting, while you spoke at length with him about what's going on in Iran, Dana, he also told you he's got his eye on Cuba. Cuba. Explain.
Come on, talk to us.
He brought up Cuba unsolicited, Wolf. He said Cuba's going to fall pretty soon, by the way. Cuba is going to fall, too. They want to make a deal so badly. They want to make a deal, and so I'm going to put Marco, meaning Rubio, over there, and we'll see how that works out. We're pretty focused on this one right now, and that part he was talking about Iran. We've got plenty of time, but Cuba's ready after 50 years.
Interesting. Gas.
Wow.
Prices, as we all now know, are up some 34 cents a gallon in just a week. What did he say about that?
He said, that's all right. It'll be a short-term time. It'll go way down quickly. He said, they're up a little bit, not much, but it'll drop down to record lows. I asked him if that means that he
Record lows my ass. Come on, man. It's not going to drop down record lows. We know this shit, man. Stop lying to the American people.
thinks that they've got the Strait of Hormuz figured out. And his answer was, yes, they think that they've knocked ships.
So we're here this.
You can see that the damn correspondent really is just struggling for words, man. You're just repeating what he says. We need more explanation, man. Look, we're not expecting oil prices to go low, but what is at threat is a military intervention for Cuba, and I'm hoping that we don't have to get involved with another useless war that's going to continue to make shit just go crazy expense-wise, man, especially for the so close no. But we all know and have heard that Cuba's regime is a tough one to deal with, and even so, some of its own people, right? So tough that when and after Donald Trump said what he said, guess what? The government forced thousands of people to go march near the U.S. Embassy in Cuba, and this is the result.
Morning in Havana, Cuba, along the famous Malecon. That's that famous ocean highway right here in the city. And we're joined by thousands and thousands of people you can see. And right there, that building right there, is the U.S. Embassy. The Cuban government this morning is surging hundreds of thousands of people past that embassy in what they're calling an anti-imperialist march on May 1st, International Workers' Day. This, of course, comes as this ongoing geopolitical conflict between the United States and Cuba continues to intensify. The oil blockade put in place by the Americans earlier this year has had a devastating effect on the economy here. It has caused a lot of suffering for ordinary Cubans. But the United States government says, look, the suffering that we see on the island here is from the Cuban government's own incompetency, its own corruption, and they believe the government here has to change. That's the goal of the Trump administration. The goal of the Cuban government here, by sending tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people to the front door of the U.S. Embassy, is clear. The Cuban government is not planning to back down, at least anytime soon, at least publicly, as this conflict goes on.
You know, forcefully sending thousands of people to the U.S. government. Do they even need to be there? Do they even want to be there? In the comments of this video, some people from Cuba said, hey, look, we were sent there, and if we did not go, we would either get fired from our jobs or possibly locked up. So that's where you get a march from. Now, I don't know how true that is. It doesn't surprise me if it is some sort of bully tactic to kind of get its local residents, you know, to go there and march the unit just to kind of make a statement. But that's just tough, right? That is just tough. Can Cuba continue to survive on its own during this war? We already seen the global impact that the blockades and the war with Iran has right now. Can Cuba continue to be a sovereign state with its needs to for imports, oil and everything else? Let's just go ahead and just keep watching.
Can you imagine what's happening in Miami right now? Those Miami Cubans are losing their everlasting mind because they're like, yay, Donald Trump said he's going to take us. And they thought it was a good idea. They were like, that's a great idea. He can take us because we're going to trade one dictatorship for another. He doesn't see what's happening right now. Donald Trump doesn't want you in this country. He wants you to go back to your island. And I don't know what to tell you. You're looking for status like Puerto Rico. Right now, they're working behind the scenes to make Puerto Rico an independent country. You don't seem to understand that. The problem is logistics for them because they make so much money, billions of dollars because of the Jones Act. Meanwhile, while all of this is happening and people are starving, they don't have enough oil to keep the lights on and they're not able to provide for their family. And forget about housing because it's no bueno. But you guys are jumping up for joy. You know what he's going to do? A big old golf course right there in Cuba. And there's going to be some serious colonization going on if anything was to happen. You guys are ridiculous.
She's worried about colonization from the Trump administration moving forward. Man, put that on the table, guys. Put it on the table.
Really excited to see that I finally see a free Cuba in my lifetime.
It's all the talk in the Cuban exile community after 67 years of possibility of a free Cuba. This just days after President Donald Trump declared the U.S. is actively pursuing change in Cuba.
I think there is a lot of hope and change for Cuba.
Meanwhile, at the White House,
the president's made it quite clear it's his belief, based on fact, that the Cuban regime is bound to fall. The country is obviously in a very weak place, economically speaking. The people are crying out for help, and the president believes and knows that the Cuban regime wants a deal.
according to a report from USA Today, the Trump administration is in talks with Cuba to create an economic deal that would ease sanctions between the U.S. and Cuba.
They've been suffering for so many years. I mean, I think economically it'll open up jobs and open up opportunities for a lot of people.
But not.
It would be nice for them to just talk about it instead of just flexing military strength, you know. I mean, just the threats and just the, that sort of talk can change things economically as well, man. We've already been through enough. We're just looking for a little bit of relief on our pockets. Bro, like just groceries, everything else.
Everyone is convinced this alleged deal is the right way to go.
I think that they should really go in and just, take the Castros out, take Raul Castro out.
I feel elated. Fidel Castro killed my grandfather's father, my grandfather's brother, tried to kill my grandfather. And that type of life, imprisoning people, it's not a way to live. Thank God to Trump and Trump's policies.
We're here in South Florida where members of the Cuban diaspora tell us that they're filled with hope. Hope that for the first time in 67 years, their country might be saved from communism, and a hope that's being fueled by President Trump's most recent remarks.
Many of you have come today and they say, I hope you can take care of Cuba. I'll take care of it, okay?
That was President Trump over the weekend, giving the strongest indication yet that he may be planning on toppling the Cuban regime. I talked to Marcel Felipe. He's a leader of the exile community here in Miami. He gave me a tour of his museum, the American Museum of the Cuban Diaspora, and he told me that what comes next from the Trump administration could make or break the island of Cuba.
This is our Berlin Wall moment.
Right.
I think there is a lot of hope. There is a lot of hope because it's almost surreal.
Hope, but also concerns that are manifesting from within President Trump's own Republican Party. Concerns about yet another military intervention leading to another potential regime change.
Hi, I'm Liz.
It almost seems like Miami, the Cubans outside of Cuba are like, yeah, we want this. The Cubans in the United States wouldn't want this. But what about the Cubans that are actually on the island? We haven't heard much from them. Let's just keep watching.
I'm here in Havana, Cuba, but we are following what is happening in Iran right now and wonder what it means for us here on the island. So I decided to go out on the streets to ask people what they think.
¿Les da miedo de lo que está sucediendo ahora mismo en Irán sucede en Cuba?
Sí, creo que es lógico que daría miedo que pasara algo así en Cuba.
¿Por qué te da miedo?
Bueno, muchas muertes, la crisis humanitaria que hay, hambre, creo que eso no es lindo que pase en ningún lugar.
Supongo que mi familia, ¿sabes? Que pase algo con mi familia es lo que más miedo me da.
Para mí eso es algo muy grave porque se están involucrando muchos países. Se van a seguir involucrando muchos más todavía y ya yo veo peligro de una tercera guerra mundial. Y por supuesto, independientemente de que nosotros no estemos involucrados en ese conflicto, nos va a afectar grandemente por las crisis.
¿Cuál es tu opinión?
Una pila de niños muertos, mujeres embarazadas, hombres, todos muertos allá, así que da miedo que eso llegue aquí, ¿sabes?
Wow.
Ya tantas amenazas que ha hecho, como que ya uno se asusta ya cada vez que sale a la calle, como que siempre tiene miedo. De que lleguen de momento, tú no sabes por dónde, eso sí da miedo.
What's happening with Cuba is amazing, and we think that we want to finish this one first, but that will be just a question of time before you and a lot of unbelievable people are going to be going back to Cuba.
Los mismos cubanos que da pena piden la guerra para Cuba, cuando tienen familia, cuando tienen algo que perder en la isla.
Wow, that's powerful stuff. He's saying that it's Cubans that's calling for war on Cuba and in Cuba. And meanwhile, they still have family and things to lose in the country. It's crazy. This person is calling them traitors.
Marco Rubio, ¿qué cosa es? Un fascista. Y Trump es un fascista, nazista. ¿Qué vamos a esperar?
¿Cree que Estados Unidos está ayudando?
No, ayudando.
contrario. Es lo que quiere apoderarse de todo. Pero ayudando para nada.
Pero siente que es una amenaza real para Cuba. Siente que pudiéramos ser los siguientes en la lista.
Bueno, con todas las amenazas que él tiene sobre nosotros, pues pienso que sí, pero nosotros no nos vamos a dejar así tan fácil que nos ataquen. Pienso yo.
No, aquí en Cuba yo creo que nosotros estamos tan preparados que eso no va a pasar aquí. Aparte, aquí yo creo que no hay valor de venir para acá, porque nosotros sí tenemos una preparación militar, no como la de ellos, pero aquí no van a venir, creo yo, a hacer las loqueras que han hecho por ahí para afuera.
¿Y si vienen, no tiene miedo?
No, yo pasé servicio militar, yo estoy preparado.
Man, he seems pretty confident that
Y esta es mi padre, hasta la defiendo.
they can defend off a U.S. attack.
Yo a lo que toque.
I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba.
Ooh, man, what do you guys think? Cubans against Cubans. This is becoming a lot. I mean, first you get spirit shutting down. Can we just focus on things on the domestic home front before we start going to other countries? God dang, man, we just cannot slow down. 2026 is going to be a long, tough year, man. Wow, I mean, this is going to be a tough one, guys. I really appreciate y'all watching this video. Tell me what you think, where you watching from in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe.